Hello and happy Tuesday. I know you're excited to find out who was at the door from our cliffhanger yesterday. But I just want to give you fair warning. This is my second time trying to record this. I had a really hard time trying to keep all the voices straight for all of the people that speak in this section. So we have Dumbledore, Fudge, Hagrid, and then the person at the door. And I'm going to try my best to make their voices different from each other. But it's hard. There's a reason I'm not a voice actor. So just bear with me. Try to keep track of who's where. And yeah. Okay. Let me try to make sure there's no glare. There we go. Got Hagrid. Before Fudge could answer, there was another loud rap at the door. Dumbledore answered it. It was Harry's turn for an elbow in the ribs. He'd let out an audible gasp. Mr. Lucius Malfoy strode into Hagrid's hut, swathed in a long black traveling cloak, smiling a cold and satisfied smile. Fang started to growl. "Already here, Fudge," he said approvingly. "Good, good." "What are you doing here?" said Hagrid furiously. "Get out of my house!" "Dear man, please believe me. I have no pleasure at all in being inside your, do you call this a house?" said Lucius Malfoy, sneering as he looked around the small cabin. "I simply called at the school and was told that the headmaster was here." "And what exactly do you want with me, Lucius?" said Dumbledore. He spoke politely, but the fire was still blazing in his eyes. "Dreadful thing, Dumbledore," said Malfoy, lazily, taking out a long roll of parchment. "But the governors feel it's time for you to step aside. This is an order of suspension. You'll find all 12 signatures on it. I'm afraid we feel you're losing your touch. How many attacks have there been now? 2 more this afternoon, wasn't it? At this rate, there'll be no more Muggleborns left at Hogwarts. And we all know what an awful loss that would be to the school." "Oh, now see here, Lucius," said Fudge, looking alarmed. "Dumbledore suspended? No, the last thing we want just now." "The appointment, or suspension, of the headmaster is a matter for the governors, Fudge," said Mr. Malfoy smoothly. "And as Dumbledore has failed to stop these attacks—" "Now look here, Lucius, if Dumbledore can't stop them," said Fudge, whose upper lip was sweating now, "I mean to say, who can?" "That remains to be seen," said Mr. Malfoy with a nasty smile. "But as all 12 of us have voted—" Hagrid leapt to his feet, his shaggy black head grazing the ceiling. "And how many of them had you had to threaten and blackmail before they agreed, Malfoy? Huh?" he roared. "Dear, dear, you know that temper of yours will lead you into trouble in one of these days, Hagrid," said Mr. Malfoy. "I would advise you not to shout at the Azkaban guards like that. They won't like it at all." "You can't take Dumbledore!" yelled Hagrid, making Fang the Bloodhound cower and whimper in his basket. "Take him away, and the Muggleborns won't stand a chance. There'll be a killin's next." "Calm yourself, Hagrid," said Dumbledore sharply. He looked at Lucius Malfoy. "If the governors want my removal, Lucius, I shall, of course, step aside." "But—" shuddered Fudge. "No!" growled Hagrid. Dumbledore had not taken his bright blue eyes off Lucius Malfoy's cold gray ones. "However," said Dumbledore, speaking very slowly and clearly so that no one could miss a word, "you will find that I will only truly have left this school when none here are loyal to me. You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it." For a second, Harry was almost sure that Dumbledore's eyes flickered towards the corner where he and Ron stood hidden. "Admirable sentiments," said Malfoy, bowing. "We shall all miss your, highly individual way of running things, Albus, and only hope that your successor will manage to prevent any, killin's." He strode to the cabin door, opened it, and bowed Dumbledore out. Fudge, fiddling with his bowler, which is a hat, by the way, waited for Hagrid to go ahead of him. But Hagrid stood his ground, took a deep breath, and said carefully, "If anyone wanted to find out some stuff, all they'd have to do is follow the spiders. That'll lead 'em right. That's all I'm saying." Fudge stared at him in amazement. "All right, I'm coming," said Hagrid, pulling out his moleskin overcoat. But as he was about to follow Fudge through the door, he stopped again and said loudly, "And someone'll need to feed Fang when I'm away." The door banged shut, and Ron pulled the invisibility cloak off. "We're in trouble now," he said hoarsely. "No Dumbledore? They might as well close the school tonight. There will be an attack a day with him gone." Fang started howling and scratching at the closed door. So it looks like Dumbledore is no longer headmaster, and Hagrid's off to Azkaban, the prison, and all that Ron and Harry have to go off of is to follow the spiders? Interesting. Well, we have just about a minute or so left, so Chapter 15 is called, and I hope I'm saying this right, Aragog. Let me see so I don't get the glare. Aragog. I'm not sure what Aragog is, but I know we'll find out. There we go. Summer was creeping over the grounds around the castle. Sky and lake alike turned periwinkle blue, and flowers as large as cabbages burst into bloom in the greenhouses. But with no Hagrid visible from the castle windows, striding the grounds with Fang at his heels, the scene just didn't look right to Harry. No better, in fact, than the inside of the castle, where things were so horribly wrong. Harry and Ron tried to visit Hermione, but visitors were now barred from the hospital wing. "We're taking no more chances," Madame Pomfrey told them severely through a crack in the hospital door. "No, I'm sorry. There's every chance the attacker might come back to finish these people off." With Dumbledore gone, fear had spread as never before, so that the sun warming the castle walls outside seemed to stop at the mullioned windows. Mullioned. I don't know what that is. There was barely a face to be seen in the school that didn't look worried and tense, and any laughter that rang through the corridors sounded shrill and unnatural and was quickly stifled, or stopped. Harry constantly repeated Dumbledore's final words to himself. "I will only truly have left the school when none here are loyal to me. Help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it." But what good were those words? Who exactly were they supposed to help, when everyone was just as confused and scared as they were? Hagrid's hint about the spiders was far easier to understand. The trouble was there didn't seem to be a single spider left in the castle to follow. Harry looked everywhere he went, helped, rather reluctantly, by Ron. They were hampered, of course, by the fact that they weren't allowed to wander off on their own, but had to move around the castle in a pack with other Gryffindors. Most of their fellow students seemed glad that they were being shepherded from class to class by teachers, but Harry found it very irksome. One person, however, seemed to be thoroughly enjoying the atmosphere of terror and suspicion. Draco Malfoy was strutting around the school as though he had just been appointed head boy. Harry didn't realize what he was so pleased about until the potions lesson about a fortnight after Dumbledore and Hagrid had left, when, sitting right behind Malfoy, Harry overheard him gloating to Crabbe and Goyle. I always thought Father might be the one who got rid of Dumbledore, he said, not troubling to keep his voice down. I told you he thinks Dumbledore's the worst headmaster the school's ever had. Maybe we'll get a decent headmaster now. Someone who won't want the Chamber of Secrets closed. McGonagall won't last long. She's only filling in. Snape swept past Harry, making no comment about Hermione's empty seat in Cauldron. All right, we're at 10 minutes. We gotta stop for now. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Happy Tuesday.